Good morning and welcome. My name is Ian D. Bethel. I'm senior pastor here at New Beginnings Baptist Ministries. I'm also the chair of the Unity Community Mediation Team, and I'm also co-chair of the Police Community Relations Council. The Police Community Relations Council is an outgrowth of the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed by the community and many of our organizations who are part of the UMCP, and also the Minneapolis Police Department and the city of Minneapolis. We're here today to show our community that we are in compliance with the MOU. And a great example of that is the relationships that we have had for over 4 years in this community. And so we're grateful today to be able to come and to show our community that we don't compete. We don't compete. We partnership together in order to address many of these issues that are before us in our community today. And so with that, one of our key partners in the Unity Community Mediation Team is the NAACP, whose president is with us today. And also, the community needs to know that the chief and myself have served side by side with the work of the Police Community Relations Council. And it's been very effective. And so you will hear from the chief at this time, and then from the chief you will hear from the illustrious president of the NAACP as we're about to announce another outgrowth. I said another outgrowth, and that's important, another outgrowth of us being in compliance and us being accountable to the community and of us being transparent with the work of the Memorandum of Understanding. Chief.
Thank you, Reverend Bethel, and thank you to all the members of Unity Community Mediation Team that are here with us, and thank you to President Cynthia Wilson and the members of the NAACP who have been working with us and are so willing to help us move forward together. The tragic shooting of Mr. Maturi is just one example of the many situations in Minneapolis where neighbors are not getting along. And let me be clear, Mr. Maturi called the police several times. He did everything he was supposed to do to try and get help. But unfortunately, the Minneapolis Police Department alone was not able to provide that help for him. And again, we are sorry for that. However, this is just one example of many instances where there are people out there looking for help, and we alone are not able to provide the service that they expect. We're not able to resolve things as quickly as they need to be. In the context of neighbor-to-neighbor disputes, tenant disputes, I just want to provide the reality of the situation. Year to date, there have been over 2,000 calls for service related to neighbor-to-neighbor disputes or tenant disputes. That's an average of about 45 calls a week. And now every situation is different. Each has its own individual dynamics, but many of them have the potential to escalate. And all of them are difficult for police to deal with, particularly those that are civil and do not rise to the level of criminal issues or violence. We don't always have clear-cut probable cause that we oftentimes need in order to make an arrest. Or if we do take somebody into custody, there oftentimes isn't sufficient evidence to prove an offense beyond a reasonable doubt. The suspects are then returned into the community to the same situation, and now the dispute is often even more heated. As the police, we want to do everything we possibly can to prevent those relationships from reaching a breaking point. That's the point of the partnership that we are announcing today. As Reverend Bethel said, it is a natural outgrowth of the work we've been doing with the Unity Community Mediation Team, as well as the NAACP. And the NAACP has expertise in this area, providing mediation services. What the program will look like exactly is still being worked on. But I do know that the MPD has already begun pulling data from our crime analysts to determine how many ongoing disputes exist across the city and identify those repeat locations, those repeat victims, repeat offenders, and identify those most likely to escalate and become potentially dangerous. We will continue to work very closely with the NAACP, with our crime prevention specialists, with our community navigators, with our mental health experts and our embedded social workers, all who are working on these cases every day as we try and prioritize which cases to work on and decide the best course of action. I want to stress again that we are in the early stages of developing this program, but we are collectively very excited about its potential to bring peaceful resolutions to these common conflicts. We welcome and thank the NAACP and the Unity Community Mediation Team for their willingness to provide help to our officers. It is oftentimes incredibly frustrating for officers to keep returning to a situation and being unable to provide the help that residents are asking for. We all believe that it is important to see collaboration between all these groups, community groups, that we strive for better and safer neighborhoods together. This is a team. We cannot have public safety without the public, and we know that moving forward, addressing these issues, we will be stronger together. So with that, I want to introduce the president of the NAACP, Ms. Cynthia Wilson, for her remarks.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. Just very excited about where we're moving forward. Let me just say that as the president of the Minneapolis NAACP, it is my responsibility to make sure that we are addressing the concerns of the community. And when I say addressing, that means we're not going to solve every situation, but we are being proactive. So we hear you, and we hear the calls that are coming through, we hear the complaints that are coming through, and it is our goal to make sure that we respond. And so a part of that response is connecting with the Minneapolis Police Department and working toward this new initiative that will help mediate some of these cases that are happening in our within our neighborhoods and with the neighbors. This is a great opportunity, I believe, not only for the NAACP, but for our faith-based organizations such as New Beginnings. We're opening this up to other organizations, to other faith-based organizations who are interested in being a part of this. There will be training that has to take place upon doing this, but we think that this is a great start for us moving forward. In terms of whenever there's concerns from the community and issues that arise, there can't be an immediate fix. You know, there's nothing that we can just do tomorrow and say, this is how it's going to be. But things take time, and I think that this is a great opportunity, not only to engage the community, but allow people to become a part of this initiative so that they can take some action themselves. Also, I believe that with all of the different hands that are involved, you got social workers, you got community crime prevention, you got community engagement, you got the inspectors. There's so many different arms to this that will allow us to impact the community effectively. But in addition to an impact in the community, this will also allow community, it'll be us helping us. And so I think that's a huge part of developing ongoing relationships, not only with the police and the faith-based organizations, but with the community at whole. So I'm excited about this. Again, it won't be the be-all and end-all of everything, but what it will be is a start for us moving forward. And so, as the president, it is my job to see how we can move forward. We're not going to just, stay parked at what took place. What took place was a tragedy. And it is our hope that through this new initiative, we can prevent some of these tragedies from happening again. And the way that happens is little by little, step by step. And the fact that these individuals behind me are here saying that they want to move forward is huge to me. So I'm excited. Anybody who's interested, you can call the Minneapolis NAACP. And I'm sorry, let me see here. That number is 651-806-7801, and I don't know that number by heart because it's in the phone. So, but you can call that number if you're interested in any organization. However, we have different sites and locations with the UCMT that are up and running right now. If you want to make a complaint about something and you don't want to go to the police department, you can go to one of these sites and make the complaint. Because oftentimes, people in the community need to see people who look like them and who can register with them and who can talk with them. And so that's who we are. These other sites that are located around the city of Minneapolis are places that they can go to get that support and that help. Because we are about action, but action does take time, and we're going to do it in a way that is going to be productive and effective. So with that, I'm very grateful for where we stand right now and what we're looking to do, because we are hearing the voices of the community and we are taking action. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
So you can explain how this is sort of a building out of an existing relationship. What is in place historically and what will be added now?
In the MOU, there's a section that called for over 20 organizations within this community and plus, not only to partner with us, but to be solution oriented with all kinds of different issues, and not just this one, but with many different issues, whether it's use of force, behavioral health, etc. And so what this does, these sites that you see here, what this does, this keeps us in compliance with the MOU. And so this is a natural build out of the continued relationship that we have with the Minneapolis Police Department and the expertise of one of these organizations that's in the MOU, the NAACP. There are things that the Unity Community Meeting team can only go so far with, but our partner. And that's what this city needs to see, that we don't stand here, okay, competing or pointing fingers or other innuendos, but we're here to find solutions. And this is a natural outgrowth of the work that the Police Community Relations Council has done over these past 2.5 years. And so this is just another natural outgrowth. And as President Cynthia said, you can call the NAACP, or you can call here at the headquarters, and you have those sites that were given out to you. And it's for filling out a complaint. It's for help with any public safety related issues. And also, if you want to come and mentor, because there's also a mentoring program that we have individuals who are mentoring those who are graduates and come into the police department. And so we're calling on the entire community,
yes,
to come and be a part of that.
Yeah, and I guess I would just add that this is a community effort, and we're asking whosoever will, but whoever is coming, you will have to be trained, you will be vetted to make sure that you know what it takes to do the mentoring that's necessary with these neighbors. I also want to just stress and really stress that this is not an overnight fix. This is not to say that we're going to get out here and we're going to save the world. But little by little, we are looking to transform the minds of the community folks, rebuild trust, because it's going to take some time. The Black community has been violated through trust issues. And so we are trying to rebuild that. And it does take time. And I think the first step, you heard the chief apologize again. Is that going to take away the pain that Mr. Maturi and his family and the community felt? Probably not. But it's a start for him to acknowledge that yes, he did all the things that were necessary and we failed him. But how do we get over that hurdle and move forward? And this is a great start. So for me, when you apologize, not only do you apologize, but you say, hey, how can we get this right? And getting it right ain't, I have to express that it's not going to be overnight. Something might happen tomorrow, something might happen tonight, but we are working toward making things better. And so this is a great start. And so I'm very pleased with it. And I'm looking forward to what could come out of this. This could maybe be an extension to something else, maybe it could be an extension to, counseling couples where they're sent out for couple disputes or, we don't know how far or what, where this can go, but we're excited about where it's starting. And with all of these people behind me, I think it's a great start.
So as new as the organization of these community sites and the hours and then the call to potentially get added, are those?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So what's being announced is new, I just want to make sure to clarify, is what's new is these community sites and the set hours and organization of that and then the call to bring in more of these sites and.
Okay. And yes, these sites are going to be available so that citizens can feel more comfortable calling, for instance, the headquarters. And the lead person, the lead organization is the NAACP on this outgrowth of this program that's being developed. And so we are saying to the community, call these sites. Some people don't want to call the police department. And then, let's be real, they're down in numbers. And if you dial, 911, they ain't gonna show up right in 5 minutes like they used to. But however, you contact the NAACP and someone will come and will assist you and navigate you with the process of the Minneapolis Police Department. And most of this stuff is civil issues anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me just address, when he says that you call us and we're coming out, listen, we are not the police, and we're not taking the place of the police. We are a neighborhood organization who are ran by volunteers. We don't even get paid, right? So let me preface that we don't get paid. So if there's an organization out there who has funding to help support us, we would love that, but we don't get paid, we're volunteers. And we're volunteering our time for the love of the community. So we get hits, we take punches, but we're all volunteers. So if there's somebody else who's looking to volunteer and come and put on the shoes and go out here and mediate for the sake of their neighbors and their neighborhoods, then let's do that. And I think some people may enjoy doing some of this stuff, because what it really is, it's talking, it's listening, it's humanity. It's showing respect for the other person, right? And so upon doing that, I think we're able to navigate some of these disputes and some of these concerns and issues that are there that will help benefit our community and really give our police an opportunity to go handle some other stuff that needs to be handled. So that's really the intent, is to alleviate some of the strain on the police officers, and where we can help as community and neighborhood organizations, we're going to go do that.
Chief, you said that you're still working out some of the finer details. I guess where are the things that what still does need to be worked on? Because it seems like if you're now opening up these 9 sites or whatnot, it sounds like a good start. Where do you, I guess, what are the next steps after this that you still want to see come to fruition?
Just to be clear, Reverend Bethel, Unity Community have been working on these sites at least 2 years.
Yeah,
at least 2 years. So this has been in the works. The Rev has mentioned a couple times the memorandum of agreement that exists between the MPD and the Unity Community Mediation Team, which is made up of several different community-based organizations, including the NAACP. And in terms of this being an outgroup, I'd give you another example that Rev mentioned earlier. Came to Rev last year and said, our new officers need to be connected better to the community from the minute they're in training, before they even hit the street. And from that, Rev and the volunteers in Unity Community have become mentors to some of our new officers. They meet with them in the academy, they meet with them again when they're out in the street, and helps them connect our officers to people in the community so that they can feel the support that does exist in all of the diverse communities in Minneapolis. So the creation of this, the ability to refer people for mediation is a natural outgrowth of the ongoing work that Unity Community Mediation Team and the NAACP have been doing with the police department. And the fact that the sites exist is a result of previous work, but it's an opportunity that community has come up with to say, this is a place we can use to help try and resolve. This idea is driven by the community. I have just brought folks in. We brought our entire command staff together last Friday. Everyone who runs the police department, all of our inspectors, commanders, chiefs, all of the crime prevention specialists, their supervisor who's here with us, the community navigators, the supervisor for the community navigators, all of the embedded social workers, their director from the county. We got everybody in the room because this is a systemic problem. And it's very easy to take a snapshot of a police car or just the police, because that's what's most visible. That's the part of the system that people see when they're calling 911 over and over again. It's a lot deeper to understand all the different folks in the system, siloed in the system, that are trying to address this issue and try and look at that and figure out how do we all as a system learn how to do this better. And the last thing I'd say to that is it takes it to another level when community volunteers are stepping up and saying, we've got some training, we've got some expertise in that, and we'll train other folks from the community because we want to help, not only help solve the problem, which is what everybody wants, we want to take some of the burden off the police. I think that's huge.
So it sounds like what is really new here is the integration of how much.
Absolutely.
Like this program has existed before, these sites have existed
Yep.
before, and there's been communication with MPD, but never has it really been integrated so much.
Bingo.
That's it.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, you just said it, and I don't want to regurgitate that, but that's exactly it. There's been meetings here, meetings there. There's been talk about doing this talk, but now we're actually able to put all of those pieces together and go out and make this work.
So, Chief, sorry, follow-up question is that where do you still want to see improvement, right? So where do you want to see things get better? Where can these sites, this different integration help in ways that it can?
I think this is just another opportunity. This is another resource. It is community-based that may ultimately prevent things from escalating. I agree with President Cynthia Wilson here, who I think she mentioned in her remarks here that a lot of times folks don't want to come to the police or don't want to have some of these conversations, that I think community-based organizations that are trained can be in a better position than police to help resolve things. So this is simply adding another entity, another possible solution to very complicated situations.
What's the difference between an officer in a squad car meeting with these organizations and maybe the detectives and the inspectors who are not the ones normally the most visible?
I think it's a hypothetical in that I think it depends on the individual situation.
What's the advantage? We talk about more integration. Just going back to that.
Yep.
Why is it so advantageous? Why does it matter so much for police to get those other investigators, inspectors that are not on the street every day to now partner with police?
The system simply is overwhelmed. The reality is, we have fewer than half the number of investigators today than what we had in 2020 and before, when we had a whole lot less crime and serious cases. So obviously we are prioritizing things. There's fewer police officers on the street today, obviously, than there was a few years ago. At the same time, the demand is so much greater. And I think a lot of people, their stress levels, particularly in these situations, are that much heightened they can be than they had been before. So obviously this is a resource to divert to folks who have some expertise and who have training and who are from the community that may be able to better resolve the situation than simply a police officer taking a report and passing it along to either the city attorney or what have you. And again, a lot of times, while these situations are happening, these disputes are happening, it is either very difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that an offense has occurred, or at times it's simply not enough to make an arrest.
I think also where this is important, I'm not saying don't call police,
Absolutely not.
right? But is there a line somewhere where people say, maybe before I pick up the phone and call 911, is there a definable line or somewhere we say, when is it better to call one of these organizations first, or when is it to go right to the police?
I think if there's an active threat to someone's safety or the potential for property damage or a crime has occurred, absolutely call the police. But I think if there is some ongoing issue that may be passive, a crime hasn't actually occurred, or even some type of discrimination, that type of thing that doesn't rise to the level of a criminal offense, then yes.
Using Mr. Maturi's case as an example, what would this program be able to do that the Minneapolis police were not able to do in response?
Let me say this before you answer. I think to give a good case in point, because
So here's the deal, and I want to reiterate what I just said. This is not going to be the be all and the end all. So you have good questions, but the truth of the matter is we're not going to be able to answer them explicitly because we're still working this out, right? But when you say like what could have happened, if we maybe would have known, right? Maybe we could have got those two neighbors together and gave them an opportunity to talk about what's going on, what led to this, how did this happen? Who knows, right? And maybe it still would have happened, right? So that's what I'm saying when I say we're not going to be the end all, the be all, but we do provide another option, another opportunity for a community to come in and engage and perhaps resolve a conflict, right?
Able to do things that Minneapolis police may not have the ability or time to do.
Or time to do. I think they may have the ability, I think the time to do, right? And so even in that, you think about just personal relationships, people in the community, somebody that looks like me without the badge, without the gun, that I can kind of communicate a little longer with and kind of pour out what's been going on for the last month or year in this, this particular case. Again, I want to say thank you to the Maturi family, not because he was shot, obviously, but thank you for the things everything that he did well, enough for us to say, hey, these are some things that we can do next to work on bettering these circumstances and situations that may arise in the community. And just to let you know, when we met last time in our press conference at our office, we received a call from a neighbor who had an ongoing issue for, I think, a couple of years, and asked if we would come and mediate. So we're in the process of working with her to mediate with her and her neighbor. This is what I'm saying when I'm saying, what are some of the things we could do? That's one of them. They called us, they didn't call the police. They said, oh, can you guys come in and mediate this situation? And again, I think it's an opportunity for people who are in the community really aiding the community. So we're all working together. And by that, then maybe we can really move some things forward in terms of making some change. Because that's the end goal, is to make some change.
So if someone does call police and decide that it's maybe not a criminal matter, maybe more civil, would that case then be referred to one of these organizations that helps partnership network?
That's the goal. But again, it is an overwhelming volume. So that's why we're going through the data. Again, it's been over 2,000 calls related to this so far year to date. That's why we're going to be driven by the data and in conversation with the different entities that are involved every single day: crime prevention specialists, community navigators, social workers, and bring that kind of qualitative knowledge that doesn't exist as on an Excel spreadsheet, and help inform what's best, as well as making sure our officers, as once we get this flushed out, our officers are all aware that this is a potential resource that they may be able to suggest to folks when they're on a scene.
And can I just add one more thing that I forgot, and I might be talking too much. We also talked about the potential of the ride-alongs that are currently happening, but we want to go back to the old-fashioned ride-alongs where the officers are providing information, providing how the process works on certain calls, so that, that the community is aware, because I think right off the top, the community may not understand the process of how things work. So if I call the police, I'm calling you and I need you to do something, you know, but the police might be saying, well, this is civil and I'm not really able to do that. But I don't want to hear that. What I want is I made a call and I need you to do something now. And so now may not be the right opportunity or what the process is. And so I think giving the community an understanding of what that looks like, you know, we've all had experiences, and if you haven't, you probably will, had an experience where you had to call the police, and the police said, okay, well, we're not able to do this, but what we are able to do is this. So that's what will be happening. Okay, we're not able to do this, but we have a number that we can call and we can get some people to come over here and help with this situation. Because that's ultimately what the person wants, right? They want to hear that we have some type of support as opposed to, oh, we can't do that, right? So now that takes me from 0 to 100 because I called you out here to do something and you're not going to do it. So who's going to do it? Am I going to have to do it myself? Well, now you have some options. So that's kind of where this is. This initiative is to create and bring about more options so that people in the community feel comfortable to just regurgitate whatever it is that's going on in a safe environment that they feel comfortable and welcome.
Okay. We'll sum this up just by saying this again and reminding us and getting the word out to citizens in our community that this is an outgrowth of the Memorandum of Understanding. This is the Minneapolis Police Department being accountable for what is demanded in the Memorandum of Understanding, and this is also the community. We are also being accountable with the demands of the Memorandum of Understanding. And so with that, we want to thank you, and then thank you, Chief, for all the work that we do together. Cynthia, thank you here. Okay, thank you so much.
Chief, is there anything you're able to say about the status of the investigation you opened up at the department staff?
Just that it continues to be ongoing, and almost each day, we're learning things that we weren't aware of before. It's a complicated issue. It's been going on for quite some time, and there were multiple facets of the system that were involved here.
When you first see the mediation program started as
I'm sorry.
You're already doing mediation.
Say it one more time.
the mediation program
So we're in the early stages, but I would say probably by next month sometime, because we're ironing out a few things. The fact that we were already doing this it makes the transition easier. But just kind of implementing some of the pieces with the Minneapolis Police Department, which is like some of their social workers, the crime prevention, the inspectors, and those different pieces. So once we put all those things together, then we're able to actually roll it out. But for us, we've already been doing the work. So.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.